It is. So legacy planning is a huge topic of concern for people who are in their 70s who have not yet created an estate plan, because it's in your 70s where you start to see maybe your social network dwindle, and now you start to think, okay, well, if I leave, what's going to happen to all of my resources? Who is that going to go to, and how is that going to transfer in the most effective manner?
Okay, so the 70s, the one big one that's been on the minds of our entire team is RMDs, because, well, this is just in. Lawmakers have changed your RMD age again. If you were out there following this, or if you're not following this, you're thinking, wasn't it just 70 and a half not too long ago?
Yeah, just a few years ago. It was 70 and a half, and then it went to 72, and now based on the Secure Act 2.0, for some of you it's going to be age 73. For some of you, it could be age 75. So, it's an ever-moving target. And by the way, that's how life has always been. That's how legislation has always been. And that's how it's going to continue to be even when you do retire, or even if you've been retired for already 10 years. And that's why we have to stay on top of the legislation and your life and the ever-changing situation to make sure that your plan accurately reflects it, to make sure we're all making the best decisions we can.
And I think about some of these rules of retirement, like the RMDs, as sometimes you could think of it as something that happens to you. Okay, so I have to take Social Security at a certain age, I have to elect Medicare, I have to take these RMDs. I don't have any control over it, it's the rules. But I think if you understand the rules, or work with somebody that understands the rules, Haley, you understand that there are some things you can do. You don't necessarily, you can make changes based on the rules and control your retirement a little bit more.
You can, and we actually start planning for RMDs as soon as we meet with our families. And the reason why is because RMDs kind of sets the stage for this tax torpedo, right? An RMD is when you are required to take distributions from your IRA and pay taxes on it in that year. So when you're RMD age, you have Social Security turned on, you can't turn that off. You may have a pension that's turned on, you can't turn that off. And now you're required to take distributions, taxable distributions, and that basically sets the baseline of your income tax, which will set the minimum tax bracket that you're in. So we actually start with planning for RMDs far in advance, because the sooner the better, where we can implement some effective tax strategies and try to mitigate that tax bill later on in retirement.
Yeah, as planners, think about control over your retirement assets. You want the most control over it possible. RMD age, whether it's 70 and a half, 72, 73, 75, whatever that is for you, that represents a loss of control over a piece of your retirement asset. And when we're talking about 401k plans or IRAs, whether it's Roth or pre-tax, that's the bulk of most people's retirement assets, and losing even just a little bit of control over that is not a great experience for a lot of people. So planning as soon as we possibly can for something that could be even 10 years down the road is absolutely essential.
Yeah, so planning and strategizing around RMD is something you're going to show us.
Yes, let me show you. Let me illustrate this, because this actually happened with a family that I sat down with this week. So there's a unique opportunity when it comes to taking your first RMD. Typically with RMDs, you have to satisfy them by December 31st of each calendar year, except when it's your first RMD. Now this family I met with, he retired this year, and because of that, he's gonna have a severance payout of $150,000 that's taxable in this year. And he came into the meeting, he was all tense because he knew, I'm RMD age, I have to take an RMD. And this RMD amount is not little, it's $50,000. So total, he was thinking that he's gonna have to pay income taxes on $200,000 in 2023. But because this is his first RMD, you actually have a longer time horizon to satisfy the RMD. Instead of taking it in 2023, we can actually push it out to 2024. What that means is that in this year, we're only gonna realize $150,000 of taxable income and pay taxes on $150,000. And if we push it out to the following year, that does mean that he's gonna have to take 2 RMDs in 2024. So he's gonna have to pay $100,000, or he's gonna have to pay income taxes on $100,000 in the following year. But that's part of what we do, is we run a tax analysis. We're gonna compare, what if he took his RMD in the year that he had that huge lump taxable, or that huge lump sum taxable amount, and then we're gonna compare, what if he delayed the RMD to 2024, is he going to save? And the answer is that because he delayed his first RMD into the following year, he actually saved thousands of dollars. Now in retirement, every dollar counts. So could you imagine what $1,000 in retirement could do for you? I mean, you could go on an extra vacation if you wanted to. And that's just one effective strategy.
That's a prime example of understanding little known rules within the legislative code and how to specifically apply them to your situation and how you can save potentially thousands of dollars. That April 1st rule, not many people know about that when it comes to the RMD capabilities, and not everybody should take advantage of that, but it's definitely something everybody should evaluate to make sure that it does or does not fit and what kind of potential savings is on the line.
Yeah, and I like the idea of being able to sit down with you guys and go, so yeah, if I take it here, what does it do? Because again, I think taxes are another one of those things like RMDs where people feel like, I got to pay a certain amount. But when you can show them, no, mate, we can pay a little bit less in taxes, put a little bit more money in your pocket, go on an extra vacation. That's got to be really fun to show people that and show them those strategies.
Yeah, and what was their reaction when they heard that? How were they reacting to that?
Oh, he was so surprised. He had no idea that we could do that. So they were very excited, and I think they were already planning their next Caribbean cruise. So.
Thank you for watching this clip of Retiring Today, and don't forget to subscribe. If you have questions about your retirement plan, take advantage of the complimentary 15-minute retirement checkup phone call.